Hello everyone, welcome to the purple classes of the Russ Indica IS Academy. Desh Badla, Padhai Badlo, and I welcome again all of you in this new session of Indian Economy UPSC Mains 3 GS syllabus. And today we will be discussing regarding the public distribution system, objectives, functioning, limitations, and revamping of the public distribution system. At the same time, the topic which is attached to PDS system is issue of buffer stock and food security. So we will be all talking about this topic, and we will be understanding bit by bit, even in detail, that what exactly is the meaning of PDS system, what is the major functioning of the, what is the major objective, what is the major functioning, what is the limitation of the public distribution system in India, and what is the issue related to the buffer stock. So let's start with our session. So in the same line, if we see here, we were doing this whole in a chronological way, okay, or in a streamlined way that we wanted to say. So we have already completed up to a minimum support price. So today we'll be doing public distribution system, and we will be completing this topic till food security in our India, right? And after that, we will be completing technological missions and economics of animal rearing. So after that, this whole main topic will be over. Okay, so let's start with our session right away. So this is public distribution system in India. First of all, you should know public distribution system comes under which head. It is coming under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, right? So the main purpose of PDS is like what exactly PDS is. Public distribution system, as the word suggests, like we are distributing something to the public, right? So that means there are around some shops might be there which are distributing something to the public, right? So there are around 5.35 lakh fair price shops are there. There are 5.35 lakhs fair price shops are there, which have been given the task of distributing the basic food and non-food commodities, like oil is there. Then we have certain kind of what we call it as like spices. So these are the food items are there. So basic food and non-food commodities. So these fair price shop is the center of this whole public distribution system. Okay, and the responsibility of running this PDS system is jointly shared by both central government and the state government, right? So from the central government side, we have Food Corporation of India, which is the main body which procure and transport the food, right? Which have a task of procurement, storage, and transportation. Okay, FCI what do? FCI through their FCI have their own procurement centers are there. Okay, procurement centers are there which procure the food items. Then they store the food items in the warehouses. FCI warehouses are there, and then they transport it to the state warehouses, and then from state they have their own district warehouses, and then to the fair price shop. This whole way, this is a flow chart through which the things are working. Okay, then operational things, operational, like at the ground level, whatever the operational things are there, because normally central government will not keep on distributing to the fair price shop. So it is the role of state government to properly transmit the things from the FCI to the state warehouses, and no, from FCI state warehouses they will get, and now the distribution within the state has to be taken by the states. Okay, the state have to identify like who are the eligible beneficiary, who are having ration card, who are not having ration card, what category of people are there, below poverty line, above poverty line. Then Antyodaya Anna Yojana people are there, poorest of the poorest, section, like we have to find out below poverty line people, above poverty line but they are just on the borderline, then poorest of the poor people. Okay, so this is what is the role of the state government to find out these people. Okay, and state government only supervise the functioning of the fair price shop. Okay, fair price shop, or we call it as ration shop. Okay, in your hometown or wherever you go, you might be seeing fair price shop. There a lot of people will be lining up there in order to get their monthly quota of the food grain, oil and other things, right? Now, under the PDS, there are various commodities are there, like your wheat and rice, sugar is there, kerosene is there. Now, right now, I think kerosene has been stopped being given, but at some places they might be giving, because earlier there was issue of lighting. Issue of lighting is there, issue of cooking is there, because people need or fuel to cook. Okay, so kerosene is being utilized for that purpose, but slowly when the cylinder are taking place and government is providing a free of cost cylinder, so slowly government is removing this kerosene from the public distribution system. But yeah, wheat and rice are the major contributor to the public distribution system. Okay, and there are some states are there which keep other type of material also. They also provide pulses to the from the PDS system. They provide edible oils also, iodized salt, spices, and etc. So based on the type of product which PDS shop is giving, every state provide different kind of product at a very reasonable cost. Not reasonable, that means it is highly subsidized cost. Highly subsidized cost. You might be getting a 1 rupee kg rice, 2 kg rupees wheat, and 3 rupees for the core cereal. So do not take it these word statistics as real, because yeah, the things are the similar. I think you will get rupees 1 kg of wheat, 2 kg rupees 2 per kg rice. Okay, they might be keep on changing, but it doesn't go very high on that. Okay, so this is what the PDS shop used to work. Like if you see here, there is a flow chart which is here. Farmers are there. Farmers sell their produce to the mandis or purchase centers. Okay, so these are the purchasing center, or we call it as a procurement centers, right? Then from procurement center, a central government transport these things to the warehouses of the FCI. Surplus state warehouses are there, right? FCI do this. Then with the rail transport or the road transport, FCI transfer it to the deficit state warehouse, where the state needed the food grains. Okay, so state government then take road transportation, rail transportation. Not only road transportation is taken by the state government. So from the state warehouses, it go to the district level. From district level, it go to the fair price shop, and for fair price shop, it goes to the beneficiary. Okay, so this is what the hierarchy, that farmer gives to the purchasing center. Purchasing center send it to the FCI warehouses. Then FCI warehouses send it to the deficit state. Then state warehouses send it to the various district level, and then district send it to the fair price shop, and then fair price shop provide these food grains to the beneficiary. So this is how the things work, right? So here, if you see more elaborate way, farmer procurement at MSP. Central FCI buys from the farmer at MSP rate. Then central will allocate this to state government at central issue price, which is lower than MSP. Okay, so central issue price will be lower than MSP. Okay, then the state government will distribute is to fair price shops, and then sale of grant at central issue price will happen, and the beneficiary will be getting their food grains and various other things which are being provided by the public distribution system. Now the objectives. So these are the important 5 objectives of the public distribution system. First of all, to protect the lower income group. Obviously, these below poverty line people, above poverty line people, who are just at a borderline. Okay, who are at the borderline. Okay, then poorest of the poor people, right? Then ensuring equitable distribution, that wherever they go, they should get proper food grain which is sufficient for the survival for a month. Okay, then the food grain are put under the Essential Commodity Act, so that these are being available to each and every person of our country. Okay, Essential Commodity Act, whenever we say that Essential Commodity Act, the main purpose of keeping that is that here government put lots of control. Government have lots of control over the product which are listed under the Essential Commodity Act. So if there is any sudden price rise or something like that happens, so government comes in controlling power, right? Then it helps in moderating the influence of open market. Sometimes government have good amount of buffer stock, right? Buffer means they are keeping an extra amount. So if all of a sudden there is a sudden price rise of certain product that is happening in the market, so government releases certain product from their buffer house in order to ease down the prices. Okay, because whenever there is excess amount of product is there, so prices get settled down. But if there is a shortage of any product, if there is a hedging that has happened, if some farmers are trying to hedge any product and creating artificial shortage, so government comes into place and they try to moderate the situation with the help of a open market, with the help of their buffer stock, and releasing the excess amount in the market so that the prices get eased up. Okay, and then to attempt the socialization means that treat everybody and every person of a society in a similar way as you are, and because since everybody is eating the same thing that you are eating, so this process is helpful in socialization. You are sitting with people, you are buying the product with them, so everybody feels that you are among themselves. Okay, so there is no kind of separation or line that is between you and other people. Okay, so this is like it is helpful in socialization also, right? So functioning of the PDS, so it is a PDS system, public distribution system, is that it is a joint responsibility of central government and the state government. We have already discussed that central government procure, store and transport. State government has given the role of distribution through fair price shop. Okay, so central government will make available food grain needed, so FCI will procure, store and transport. State government will take from the FCI and send it to the fair price shop. FPS means fair price shops. Okay, so these fair price shops are the nodal point. These are the nodal point from where exactly it is going to be given to the consumers. Okay, then licensing policy, that means if you wanted to open a fair price shop or a ration shop, you need a license. Okay, so there are people who have a license of fair price shop. Without having a license of fair price shop, you cannot simply sell anything from the fair price shop. Okay, so there was a vigilance committee which has been checking whether the fair price shops are working properly or not, and we have a PDS control order of Government of India of 2001. Okay, so all the work that is being done for transport and everything of the PDS is being done based on this order, PDS control order of 2001. Okay, so FCI purchased the food grain. FCI purchased the food grain at MSP. Okay, then issue the food grain, like if this is a wheat, then this wheat is being allocated to state at CIP, central issue price. So central issue price will be always lower than MSP. Okay, or the economic cost of the food grain that has been paid by the central government, right? So the main component is economic cost, which include payment to the growers and cost and transportation, handling, storage, distribution of the grain. All these things are there, and also maintaining the buffer stock. Okay, so this is all economic cost. Whenever we are talking about the economic cost, if we add all these things, like what is the payment you have given to the grower, what is the transportation cost, what is the handling charges, what are the storing charges, what is the distribution charges, what is the cost of maintaining a buffer stock. So whenever you are making this, you are finding out like for 100 kg, what all costing coming under this. Okay, that is called as economic cost. And when the central government provides this to the state, it is always at the lower of the economic cost. That means you will get at central issue price, which is lower than the economic cost of holding that. Okay, that is what the whole concept of MSP and CIP. Now, consumer end prices. State set consumer end prices at fair price shop level, not exceeding rupees 0.50 per kg over the central issue price. Okay, so there has been the target has been set that the state set the consumer end price. That means what consumer are going to pay at the fair price shop level. Okay, if I am going to the fair price shop, what I have to pay from my pocket. Okay, that should not exceed 0.5 per kg over central issue price. Okay, if it has to be increased, then it should not go beyond 0.50 for especially for those people who are below poverty line, and for the above poverty line there is no such foundations are there. Then coverage expansion. The state have a freedom to extend coverage, like a state can cover any number of people under below poverty line. They can cover more people. Okay, they can extend this scheme using their own resources. Okay, so central government will provide certain resources, but if state government wanted to extend, so state government has to utilize their own resources for expansion of that. Then operational responsibility. So the state government has a responsibility of identifying, issue of ration card, and supervision of fair price shop. That is with the state government. Okay. Then commodity allocation, like wheat, rice is there, sugar, kerosene. These are all for the these are all being allocated to the state and union territories for PDS work, right? So this is the commodity. Normally, these are the commodities like wheat, rice, sugar, kerosene are there. These are the basic commodity which are being basically required by everybody, right? Then additional item, there are some states are there which also distribute other mass consumption items like your pulses are there, edible oils are there, iodized salt is there, spices are there, which are demand at that place. Okay, they may say that okay, you provide me pulses or you do not provide me rice. Okay, you provide me certain lesser rice, but you provide me some edible oil. So like that, the things keeps on working in the other states. So it just depend on state by state. But central government has made a certain rule. Central government will provide their part of the work, but and then rest it is dependent on the state government. Okay, now the role of Food Corporation of India is very important in this whole aspect. Now we discuss regarding the FCI. So FCI was incorporated in 1960s, established in 1960, because they have taken a very broader initiative, like the government has to provide food security to the people and self-sufficiency. You know, during 1960 we were doing green revolution. Okay, so there will be a bumper production of the food grain, so we need certain agency, who can keep our food grain that is being produced. Okay, so this agency will be working in order to support the food security mission and also self-sufficiency in the whole process. So food security with the sending to the PDS system, and self-sufficient by maintaining the buffer stock. Okay, so that is the role of the FCI, right? So you know, we have already discussed regarding the CACP, Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, which sets the MSP price in our country. Okay, so once the Central Agriculture Cost and Pricing CACP for 23 crops has been set, MSP has been set. Now it is a role of the FCI to procure the food grain or other things which has been mandated under that act at MSP and keep it at their warehouses, and because they have to send it to the PDS system. So the main role of FCI is to produce, procure, store, and distribute grain according with the government policies, right? So FCI role is in maintaining PDS system, because we all know that in our country millions of people are under the below poverty line, and they don't even have money to buy a day's meal. So that is why in 1960s green revolution got started, and because of that high yielding variety seed, we are able to generate a good quality and good amount of food grain, and that is why this FCI came into being, where FCI is going to provide the food grain to the needy people through public distribution system. And at the same time, FCI also has to maintain a buffer stock in order to prevent hunger and starvation, because you know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, because we will be doing this topic again, FCI has to utilize its buffer stock in order to provide extra food grain at free of cost. That is because we have a good buffer stock and we will be able to send it to the people during the COVID-19. And as you all know that during that time we have a migrant workers are there which are returning home during that time. They don't have any resources properly. So FCI buffer stock came into support. Okay, so if we go by this lockdown concept, like here we see here role played by FCI in COVID-19. around 3 million tons of food grain is being sent to UP, Bihar, West Bengal, Karnataka, and various other places. So 3 million ton is a very huge amount of food grain, and since we have a very good transportation system, we were able to produce and procure and send it to the various part of the country. So FCI facilitate direct purchase by the states and non-governmental organization from its depot. Okay, so FCI has their depot. FCI, 1 minute. Yeah, FCI is having their depot. From there, state government or non-governmental agency, they can come and directly purchase from there, and because of that, there is no need for e-auction or any open market sale. So whosoever wanted to buy, they can come to the FCI, and they said that we have a shortage of this much of food grain, so if you have a buffer stock, you can provide it. So FCI facilitate direct purchase by the states and the non-governmental organization from its depot. Okay, so there is no need of e-auction or open market sale. You can just directly go to the FCI and ask for it. Right. So what are the concerns related to FCI now? So since FCI has been made in 1960s, so slowly their functioning of the FCI become costly and ineffective, because FCI itself is having lot of debt. Around 55 lakh crore debt is there on FCI by March 2020. They have taken loan from various places in order to manage those depots. There is a lot of storage issues are there. There are a lot of storage sometime at FCI depot. They are lying in open area. Okay, they are lying in open area. They are getting rotten away, eaten away by the rats. Okay, and then there are various type of pests that are breeding on that storage places. Okay, so there is a shortage of modern facilities with the FCI. Okay, so that is the main thing. That is again one concern is there. Then diversion of food grain, because FCI is storing it for PDS and buffer for emergency, and PDS is for monthly. There is lot of diversion in the name of PDS is happening. It is going in the name of that it is going to be given to the needy people, but actually there is not going, and it is directly being diverted to the open market for sale. So there is a lot of corruption that is there, in which the product that has to be gone to the fair price shop has been diverted to the open market. Okay, then there is a lack of proactive liquidation policy for excess stock. So there is no policy for how, if we are having excess of a stock, that means if I am having around 5 million ton but storage capacity which we need, but I am having 7 million ton, what we will do with 2 million ton, what we can do with that, how to liquidate that, how we can do. So there is no policy for that, like how we can simply try to get hold of that extra 2 million ton, and because if we simply release in the market, it will distort the market, right? So there is a need to have a very proactive policy in order to see what exactly we can do with the excess stock. Okay, and there is also the concern is there that FCI role has become very obsolete. That means it has become very old and it is not needed. Okay, not needed, because as every country is moving towards the market economy, so controlling of the food grain, releasing of the food grain, and again managing the prices is not going to work in the future. So the role of FCI has to be changed in order to set the demand for the upcoming markets. FCI role earlier from 1960s to 2000, 2010 was to store and distribute the food grain to the needy people. But as we are moving towards where self-sufficiency is getting created, people are coming out of poverty. So in the future, the FCI role will become obsolete and will become old. So we need to re-energize the FCI with new type of role. Now, what are the measures that are needed to revamp the FCI? What we can do to revamp the FCI? First of all, use of roads. Roads has to be improved. You know, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana is there. that has to be revamped for all weather road, right? Because only 24% of the grain was transported by road, because we have to utilize road connectivity properly. So road transportation, because this is only the transportation which is bringing the food grain to the remotest area with the minimal cost. So road transportation has to be more and more used rather than other transportation. Then decentralized storages. So if we are maintaining the stock at block headquarters or panchayat, it is not like that you are maintaining certain warehouse at the state capital. No, you have to decentralize the storage. You should, like if you are having a capital at Lucknow, okay, if I say Lucknow, we have a warehouse, then there should be a storage at block level. Then there should be a storage at district level, like that. So decentralization of the storage should happen. It should not be like that from direct Lucknow only everybody will be getting at fair price shop. Okay, if we are maintaining the decentralized stock, so it will be able to maintain it properly. We will be able to maintain it properly, and there will be no burden on the whole system. Then fiscal burden, obviously there is a lot of fiscal burden is there, because government has to release additional stock under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan, because government is giving double the amount of ration. So again it cost the double the amount that government put under the subsidy burden. Then we have to utilize our good amount of vibrant network. Okay, we have self-help groups are there, we have national rural livelihood programs are there. So last mile distribution has to be connected properly. Okay, so for that we need certain kind of committees, certain kind of local level committee which are there who can help in this way. Okay, then first in and first out, like today if something I'm getting, and today tomorrow I have to take out from there only. First in, whatever is coming first has to be taken out first. Okay, whether it is stock or anything, we have to store that in such a way that the FCA should store in such a way that it takes very minimum time, and effort in order to move the product from the FCA storage inside the storage or whatever it is. Okay, then we have to also take the help of farmer produce organization. You know, FCI and NFID are there. Okay, so there is logistic expertise we have to take care in order to aid the farmer so that they can reach directly to the consumers. Okay, so role of the farmer produce organization, around 10,000 farmer produce organizations are there in our country, which we can utilize for proper working of the FCI, so that commodity movement should be happen in a very seamless way. Okay, we know that Shanta Kumar committee has been set up by the government in 2014 to recommend like how we can overhaul the FCI system, right? So they have given lot of inputs are being there. Okay, so they first of all they criticize the National Food Security Acts. They said that since we are giving it to the 67% people, it has to come to the 40% people. We know who are the poor people, and we should target only the poor people, and we should not target each and every person. Cash subsidy has to be given directly 7,000 rupees per hectare to the farmer, and FCI should FCI has to be privatized. Close scrutiny has to be done, and every time there should be a monitoring mechanism in order to find out like when this agriculture distress will be happening or any drought prone periods will be coming or not. Okay, so there is need to overhaul the whole process and modernize the storage facility. That is the role of the FCA. Now we are moving towards the like what is the meaning of National Food Security Act of 2013, why we have come up with the act, and what is the role played by that act, and what we are able to achieve from that. Okay, because we were talking on the topic, this is very important to understand the role of FCI and the role of National Food Security. So what is National Food Security Act of 2013? This is a flagship act of the government of India to provide nutritional security and ensuring food and nutritional security to each and every human being of India. Normally, if we focus on it is below poverty line people, above poverty line people, which are on the borderline, and poorest of the poor. Okay, because this act has come in order to remove the hunger problem from India so that people get adequate quantity of the food at affordable prices. Because since they are subsidized grain, so the loss that has been beared in order to provide at reasonable cost is bear by the central government and the state government. Okay, if you are buying something at 25 rupees kg and if you are selling for rupees 1 kg, so the loss that has been beared, 24 rupees loss that has been beared, it is called subsidy that has been given, and it has, the loss has to be beared by the state government and central government. This is just for your reference I am telling. Okay, now, so in order to make people to live with dignity, without hunger and proper nutrition, this National Food Security Act came into place. Because since we are talking about this topic on PDS, so PDS is helping with the help of fair price shops in order to achieve the objective of National Food Security Act. Okay, so there is a coverage entitlement around 50% of the urban population and 75% of the rural population is covered. 5 kg of food grain per person per month, and those who are the poorest of the poor, they are receiving 35 kg rupees per month for under Antyodaya Anna Yojana. Okay, so these subsidized food grain will be getting at like rice at rupees 3 per kg, then wheat at rupees 2 per kg, and coarse grain at rupees 1 per kg. Okay, so these are, you can see, if you go to open market, you will get for 20 rupees kg or 25 rupees kg. Government is providing you these things at rupees 3, 2 and 1 rupees per kg. So state government has got a role to identify who are the household which comes under poorest of the poor, or they are under below poverty line. Okay, so this is how we are identifying, state government is identifying these people, and they are getting the their share of rupees of 5 kg per person per month uniform entitlement. Then there is also one aspect of this is nutritional support, because we have children are there which are at the very smaller age, women are there who are lactating mothers are there. So children between 6 months to 14 years and pregnant and lactating women are there, they will be getting hot cooked meal to support their nutritional requirement. Okay, and higher nutritional ROM for malnourished children up to age of 6 years. So they will be getting much higher nutritional food who are malnourished. Maternity benefit under this National Food Security Act, there is a maternity benefit. So pregnant women and lactating mother, they will get maternity benefit of rupees 6,000. Okay, any woman who is above 18 years is designated as a house. So here under the National Food Security Act, woman who is eldest in the home but has to be above 18 years has been made the head of the ration card. So the ration card will be issued in her name, and there is a grievance redressal at district and the state level. And transportation cost, state incurs the transportation, handling of food grain and fair price shop dealer margin that has been taken care by the state government. So there's nothing to explain here, it is just like that. These are the facts. I just wanted to tell you, like, if the question comes on National Food Security Act, you should know like what are the points that you wanted to discuss. So these are 8, 9, 10, 11 points are there under that. Then transparency and accountability. PDS have all the record, who is coming from, where is coming, their Aadhaar card will be there. Social audit also happen, and vigilance committees are there which keeps control over the PDS system. Okay, so beneficiary, there is a food security allowance is also there if the beneficiary is not being supplied with the food grains or meal. So there is a food security allowance, that means you will be getting some cash benefit out of it. Okay, and if anybody violate any of the rules over there, so there will be a penalty which will be imposed by the State Food Commission. If any of the authority person of the officer, if they are not able to do what exactly is being required under the National Food Security Act, they will be penalized if it is recommended by the district grievance redressal officer. Now, what approach has been taken by the National Food Security Act? So it is not like that the way we were doing before 2013. So there is a total revamping of the concept of providing the food. Earlier, the food was considered as a welfare measure, but now it is a right-based approach. That means it is a right of a person to have a good quantity of food for him. Statutory support, that means it has a law that is backing, law backing. Okay, National Food Security Act has a law backing, and statutory means it is an act of parliament. Right of food is a legal right that has been made. It is not general, it is a legal right. You have a legality in asking for this amount of food. Then they have even classified the people into various category: those who are excluded, those who are in priority, and those who are Antyodaya Anna Yojana. Okay, what is the role of central and the state government has been specifically mentioned over there. Then proper grievance redressal, like if any person is having any grievances, or he's not getting non-delivery, or somebody is talking not properly with him, so there is a grievance redressal mechanism that has also been put under National Food Security Act. Okay, so we know that there are certain loopholes are there, certain diversions are there, certain leakages are there, but if we compare before 2013 and after 2013, there is a lot of better outcome that we have got as per the survey. Okay, so what we can do in order to improve the National Food Security Act, what we can do exactly? You have to utilize information technology to the fullest way. Okay, to the fullest way, and we have to digitalize. We have to digitalize the whole process, so it will help in enhancing the transparency. It will also prevent corruption to the larger extent. Okay, and everything should be available online, so that the relation, the FCI, state warehouse, how much is the procurement, how much is storage, how much is the distribution, everybody we can see in the type of a dashboard. All the information should be available at a click of a button. Okay, proper information should be there on quality of the food grain, what are the storage condition, where they are being stored. Okay, and who are being this distributed to the beneficiary, who are the beneficiary who are getting this. Okay, at the same time, for the National Food Security Act, we are focusing on one nation one ration card. Okay, one nation one ration card. For that, we have done a separate topic we will be doing today. One nation one ration card means if you have a ration card, even if you are going anywhere inside the country, like if you are from UP, if you are from Uttar Pradesh, and if you are going to West Bengal, then in West Bengal you cannot utilize the PDS because you cannot utilize the Uttar Pradesh ration card in West Bengal. So it has been said that we should focus on one nation one ration card, so that if person is a migrant worker, he or she has to travel from one places to the other places to other, he or she should have a certain one ration card which is valid everywhere. Okay, his data is already seeded, so he can go and take the ration from anywhere at any places. It is not like that he has to come to his place, take the ration and then go. So this will also provide seamless connectivity throughout the country. And then we have to also integrate management of the PDS. Okay, to cover all state, every state has to be connected integrately. So every data related to PDS, every data related to the distribution is being present at a single place. Now we have international obligation also, because food is a human right that has to be followed. So everywhere the food is being treated as a human right and is a basic necessity under international law. And India has a lot of international agreement that has been signed by various countries. India itself sent their food product to the various poorest African countries as a food aid. Okay, as a food aid. So we have a lot of international agreement with other countries. So this is again, we have an obligation on sending the food grain of a desired quality. So that is why we need to have a very, very important and very, very comprehensive policy. How we are going to deal with inequality, how we are going to deal with food diversity, how we are going to deal with indigenous rights and environmental justice. So all these things have to be tackled in order to achieve the goal of National Food Security Mission. Now we are moving towards our next topic, that is targeted public distribution system. So what is the meaning of targeted public distribution system? As the word suggests, here we are targeting certain group. Targeting certain group. Okay, so this concept came in 1997 and this has replaced the universal PDS system. Okay, so universal PDS system has been replaced by TPDS. Focus is narrow coverage. Only the needy person, only the needy person should get the food grain, especially focusing on the below poverty line people. So how they are going to find out like who exactly is a BPL? So they have taken the help of the census that has been done by the Ministry of Rural Development. Okay, so under the TDPS system, TPDS system, the food grain is provided at half the economic cost. So whatever the economic cost, that means if the economic cost is coming 1000, so they are sending it for 500 rupees, half the economic cost for the below poverty line family, and for above poverty line family they receive at an economic cost only. So this is the target public distribution system. So the BPL families have been targeted and they have been given the fixed entitlement per month. How much rice, how much wheat, okay? But there is no fixed entitlement for the above poverty line family. Okay? So there is a fixed entitlement for the BPL family, but there is no fixed entitlement for the above poverty line family. So this special focus is on the below poverty line. Okay? And along with that, a supplementary scheme of food grain has been launched that is called Antyodaya Anna Yojana. That was initiated in 2000. That is the poorest of the poor people. Poorest of poor people. So under that 5 categories has been there, which has been set by the Supreme Court to identify like who are the eligible people under these all categories. So under the Antyodaya Anna Yojana, they have a 35 kg per month per family they are going to provide. Otherwise, they have a 5 kg per head in the family. But in the Antyodaya Anna Yojana, they have a 35 kg per month per family. Okay, but slowly as the time process, this scheme got expanded in various phases like 2003 2004 in order to broaden the coverages. Okay, now what is the efficacy, what is the role that has been played by the National Food Security Act of 2013 and targeted public distribution system during the COVID-19 situation? Okay, so first of all, what happens is that we got a lot of help from the technology driven PDS. We are having a technological data, everything got seeded over there. So 80 crore beneficiaries are there, 80 crore beneficiaries are there. Proper double food grain distribution happened to these people at a proper time frame. Okay, so 100% digitalized ration card and beneficiary data has been seeded into the portal, and 67% of the biometrically Aadhaar authenticated distributed. That means out of this all people who are eligible for this PDS and targeted public distribution system, 67% people have their biometric Aadhaar card authenticated. Okay, then government also provided additional free ration, double free ration under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. Under National Food Security Act, they were getting certain ration. Then again, it has been supplemented with one more scheme that is called Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, which added the double. Like if you were getting 5 kg per head per family, now 10 kg you will get per head per family. Okay, so the Ministry of Consumer Affairs and PDS have that average of 93 to 94% of the food grain per month was distributed under National Food Security Act, and Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana leaving only 6 to 7% unidentified or unlifted eligible or excluded beneficiaries. That means we have able to provide food grain to 93 to 94% people who are in need. Only certain like around 6 to 7% people are there who have been left behind because they have not been uplifted just because they've got excluded from the beneficiary list. But there are some drawbacks also, like while integrating the management of the PDS, food grain access and mitigation, diversion or leakage has to be given attention. Like we are providing proper end-to-end support for that, but still there is a issue of food grain access. Okay, we know that Aadhaar seeding is working properly. We know that fair price shops are working properly. We know we are moving ahead of one nation, one ration card, but still into the remotest place, to the uh, remotest place, we have a issue of food grain access. We have a issue of migrating diversion, that people are migrating and leakages are still prevalent. Okay, then there is a targeting error is there. Targeting error means we are not exactly able to target who are in need and who are in not need. So even after analyzing the data, so there is a lot of inclusion which is not needed, and there are a lot of exclusion which is needed. So excluded people has to be included, and those who are included may not be requiring that kind of support. So there is an error in targeting errors. Okay, then evaluation and awareness and educating on one nation one ration card. So there is a lot of evaluation, there is a lot of awareness issue regarding one nation one ration card. This has to be spread throughout the people with the help of various type of pamphlets, various type of ads and everything that can be done. Okay, now we are moving towards how we can solve way forward. So a fair price department should monitor fair price shop to find out if there is any green diversion that is happening or not. And if there is any green diversion, you should immediately start the penalty provisions. You have to immediately start the penalty provision for not meeting the requirement. That is why we need a good amount of data governance policy in order to maintain the transparency in the whole process. And state and union territories should work on finding out who are the excluded people, and these excluded people should be provided with various type of coupon system, cash, or they can be given the food from the surplus stock. At the same time, if anybody is further excluded, then you should look for community kitchen service of civil society for excluded section of the society, right? Now we are coming in the problem associated with PDS. What is the role of PDS in food procurement? What issue comes under the storage, and what issue come under the distribution? So first we will get the open-ended procurement. So acceptance of all incoming grain regardless of the buffer stock level exacerbates the shortage in the open market. That means you are bound to buy anything which is coming to you. You start buying, even if you have got a buffer limit, still you exceed your buffer limit. So because of that, there is a shortage that happens in the open market. Okay, so implementation of the National Food Security Act intensify procurement, leading to higher grain prices. Okay, once that act came into being, so there was increased procurement by the FCI. So leading to the higher grain prices, because there is a shortage in the market. When there is a shortage in the market, automatically the prices goes very high. Then what comes with the storage issue? We have a very inadequate storage facility. Okay, even we have there are we rot or damages everywhere because of that pest that is attacking, whether the rats that are eating. Okay, wastage is there, right? Around 25 to 35% of the food grain that is stored in the FCI got wasted in all these because of just issue with the storage. And storage carry very high cost, so that has government has to bear with it, right? Then allocation challenges. Obviously identification is very important if you wanted to allocate something. So there is a lot of inclusion error, exclusion errors are there for poverty line, above poverty line. Then income household data is not there. If you are not having proper household income data, obviously it will not help you in targeting, and because of that there is an undeserving recipient who is receiving the benefit, and those who are deserving, they are not getting the benefit. Okay, ghost card means the people are dead, and still in their name ration card is working, and people are utilizing in your own name. That is called ghost card. Because of that, diversions are happening, right? Then illicit practice in fair price shop. In fair price shop, even there is no shortage, the fair price shop owner says, okay, we have our stock has got over, and then you should come next week. Okay, and the fair price owner keep the good quality of the stock with himself and provide with inferior quality of the stock to the consumers. Fake ration cards are there, under which lot of leakages are happening, lot of pilferages are happening. So this is what illicit practice that is going on in the fair price shop. Then what is the transportation challenges? There's a lot of leakages and diversion during the transportation, because transportation from the FCA started, but in between, who so sell it, who may buy it, how much extra sacks of the bags you can take it out, right? So that is again a issue during the transportation. Lot of leakages and pilferages happen during that time. Okay, then the fair price owner or the warehouse owner substitute good quality food grain with inferior quality, right? So, and then whatever the quality of food grain you are getting, that is of also of not good quality, and because of that we are not getting proper nutritional support from the grain. Okay, so this is what other issues that are there with that. So what government has started to do with that? What are the government initiative? So government initiative under the how to improve the PDS system, digitalization of the ration card is one thing. Okay, from end to end digitalization of the ration card should happen. The data should be fed in the central server. At the same time, everything is digitalized so that online entry, verification, everybody can happen. Everything can happen from that online. Okay. Automation of the fair price shop. That means there is a point of sale machine, how much product has been sold, how much it is in the stock. Okay, so this automation will tell like how much food is allocated, which family is taking how much amount of food. Based on that, the central government will have a full data around like what fair shop, from where the food from where the people are taking more food, and which fair price shop is working properly, and from which fair price shop the proper food is not being offloaded, like that. Then direct benefit transfer is being provided in the form of the like Aadhaar linked bank accounts are there using JAM Trinity model, Jandan Aadhaar mobile phone. Okay, so this people are getting directly in their bank account, which they can utilize in order to buy the food grains from the fair price shop. Then GPS tracking of the transport. That means you put a tracker. Okay, you put a tracker in the FCI trucks. Okay, if there is any route diversion that happens, so immediately it will be triggered to the central authority. Then SMS based monitoring system. So everybody now they can get the SMSs like during what time like your product has been dispatched, when the ration card is open. So there should be like people data is associated with PDS. In the PDS system, you enter the data of ration card with your phone number. So when the truck will be coming and when the ration shop will be opening and what is the status of the dispatch of the commodity, that will be directly transferred to your mobile phone. So based on the data in your mobile phone, you can go and buy your product. So in a transparency and accountability get increased. Then web-based citizen portal should be there, where you will get a toll-free number. Web portals are there where you can register your complaints or you can provide any kind of suggestion to that. So some measure needed is that end-to-end computerization has been recommended by the Justice Wadhwa committee report. Okay, he was Justice Wadhwa. In order to prevent any kind of diversion, he said we have to do end-to-end computerization, and they even discussed the model of Chhattisgarh, which have prevented the diversion, and Gujarat model for proper identification at ration shop. So these are the two examples. Like in Chhattisgarh, this is a model state which has made it clear that there will be very less diversion, and in Gujarat they are able to properly proper identification of a person who is going to take the PDS like food grains. Then EPDS system are being running in the state of Karnataka. Okay, where the data regarding the dealer, where the data regarding the transaction, everything biometric data is being recorded over there. So beneficiary data digitalization should happen, and here with the help of this beneficiary data digitalization, duplication of data should be removed. Okay, once you have the biometric data, because Aadhaar is providing you with proper biometric data, you just need a permission to do that. You will be having a data of lot more people, so this help in properly addressing the situation. They will eliminate the bogus, duplicate and ineligible beneficiaries. Okay, then we have a advocacy of universal PDS system, one nation, one ration card, that has to be also provided, where household receives subsidized food grain to reduce exclusion error. So in the Tamil Nadu region. Tamil Nadu provide food grain to every household. Since this is being provided to every household, so there is a very less chance of getting it deviated to the other places. So that means everybody is getting the ration card over there. Okay, so this reduces the exclusion error, but it also have a lot of money that has to be infused in order to provide food grain to each and every person. Okay, fast tracking, very very important. Fast tracking of the FCI and proper upheaval of the FCI should happen as per the Shanta Kumar committee. So you should all remember Shanta Kumar committee is related to FCI upheaval. Okay. Then we also have to improve the storage capacity for PDS scheme. There are a lot of places where we need to provide additional storage capacities. They have to be, a lot of target has to be there, and every at the state, district, at the local level, at the block level, everywhere storage capacity with modern storage facility has to increase over there. IT use has to be done to the fullest in order to find out, like, human resource management system, how we can utilize information technologies in order to properly functioning the FCI. So high level committee of the Shanta Kumar to restructure, reorient of the FCI. So it was a 6-member committee which recommended a structuring of the FCI to the modern needs. Proper financial management, proper operational efficiency has to be achieved by the FCI. That is what Shanta Kumar has given. So these are the some of the important points that Shanta Kumar has given. Direct cash transfer, okay. Then security law, like they have to provide 40% people of the country with subsidized food grain. Earlier it was 67. They said that find out the poorest of the poor people and then provide them the food. Who are coming into the poor list, just provide them with the food. Okay. Yeah. Now method to improve the PDS which Shanta Kumar committee has given. Now what Shanta Kumar committee has said regarding the improvement of the PDS system, since it is related to FCI, FCI is helpful in maintaining the PDS system. So we should know that we have to target the beneficiary reduction, 67 to 40% target. Okay. So we have to especially focus on the more people who are needing assistance. These below 40% people need more assistance. Then differential pricing. Differential pricing means if in the market, it is going 2,500 rupees. Okay. But actually the farmer has invested 3,000 rupees as a costing. So government should only provide 500 rupees as a differential price to the farmer in order to balance out the situation. Okay. So private sector involvement has to be increased in managing the storage facility of the FCI, which is very, very important. They will be maintaining at a high facility over there. So if you are providing them with a private facility, they will be creating a good amount of warehouses and everything, because they have the resources and they can invest properly if they see profit in that. Then cash transfer scheme, where government saying that based on the type of land and everything, they should provide the direct cash transfer as a minimum support price and food subsidy and fertilizer to the people. Okay. Then rice procurement limitation, they said that we have to limit the rice procurement from region like Punjab and Haryana, because there is a lot of environmental concerns over there. So we have to procure the rice only from that places which is suitable for that production. So we have to discourage the places where the resources are not there, still you are producing rice. That means there is a water shortage, but still you are producing rice. Then state centered production. A state has to provide, a state has to look forward for it. Procurement, the state driven procurement in the state has to happen. It should not be like that the central government should be procuring. It should be the state who is procuring, so that proper amount of resources can be allocated, because states know how much money, how much resources you are needed, how much food grain you needed for your distribution in your PDS system. So this improves the procurement efficiency. Okay. Then abolition levy rice policy. So the Shanta Kumar said that we have to move away from the levy rice policy, where where central government purchase certain amount of rice from milk compulsory. It should not be like that. That central government should compulsorily buy something from everyone. Okay. Because earlier what was happening, a certain amount of rice has to be compulsorily given to the central government, and whatever is left only you can sell in the open market. But now it is said that you should focus on abolishing levy rights and allow them to sell their products in the market itself. Then deregulation of the fertilizer sector. It is said by the Shanta Kumar committee that you should provide cash subsidy of rupees 7,000 per hectare directly to the farmer, so that direct benefit transfer, so it should go to their bank account and they can buy whatever they wanted from that money in order to improve their agriculture. Okay, but there is another point related to that which we have already discussed in our previous classes. Then outsourcing stocking of grain. So there is a advocacy of negotiable warehouse receipt. Here the farmer will come and deposit their product over there, and they will get the negotiable warehouse receipt, and this warehouse receipt they can utilize to get the loans. They can easily get the finance. Then Shanta Kumar committee said that clear, transparent liquidation policy for buffer stock. Liquidation means what we have to do with the buffer stock. Liquidation policy, transparent, for buffer stock management in the FCI. So that is why FCI has been granted a very good flexibility how they can offload their surplus stock in the open market, or you can export. So based on the type of buffer stock, whether you wanted to sell it to the export, you wanted to send it to export, or whether you wanted to put it in the open market, okay, in order to manage the market properly, so there is no sudden rise in the product, or there is no slump in the product. So these are all the ways in which we can do. So what are the ways that we can achieve in order to achieve whatever is the issue related to this PDS system with National Food Security? So all those people who are being like ignored, not ignored, you are being left behind. You are being left behind because you are not being considered as below poverty line, or you are being replaced somewhere in the ration card. So food coupons can be distributed to address the leakages. Okay, it is said that you should distribute 12 coupons annually through village channels. Okay, so that beneficiary should go to the ration shop and they should give this coupon to the shop, and they can take their food from the quota. Okay, if I have this coupon, I will go with this coupon to the fair price shop, and I will give this coupon to fair price shop, and fair price shop will give me certain quota of what is included in that. Then digitalization of ration card, which is a must thing that has to be done, which we have already discussed. Then electronic weighing machine has to be put, because manual machine is prone to mistakes, but electronic weighing machine is not prone to mistake, and it exactly tell how much is the quantity and what. Because if you go to the fair price shops, you can see that the fair price owner are misinterpreting the data. Sometimes they are measuring the less and telling that is measuring more. Okay, but the issue is that we need proper power situation and internet connectivity in order to properly work the weighing machine. And if this is an internet connectivity, it will be integrated. It will be integrated to their national database, so that they might be coming to know that which fair price shop is providing how much quantity of wheat or rice or various other commodities to the people. Okay, now authentication of food grain distribution. Authenticate the receipt of the food grain by eligible household. That means yes, you get that receipt. Okay, everywhere you go, you should have that receipt. Biometric information collection has to be needed of all card holders, or their data should get entered into the database. How much quantity of the PDS, how much quantity of the food grain, how much quantity of the cereals, how much quantity of their stock and quota they have taken. So everything has to be linked with the Aadhaar card, and this Aadhaar card linkages and this receipt process will help in preventing the leakages. So this is an example Karnataka has already been done over this, like how they are utilizing the biometric information, and this is one of the proactive measures that they are utilizing for it. We know that there is a lot of lack of awareness among the people who are of poor strata and those who are illiterate, who cannot know like what is happening in the fair price shop. Anybody says something to them, they simply accept that. Okay, so there is a need to properly put a display board outside which is informing each and everything in local languages. Okay, correct information, what is your entitlement, when you are going to get it, next week or next month when you are going to get it, how much you are going to get it. So these all things, issue prices, prices of the goods, everything should be there in the display board. Okay, illiteracy, because we know that a lot of PDS, many of the PDS beneficiaries are illiterate. So there is a need to generate awareness campaign by the civil society activists, there by the NGOs or government, which is needed. SMS alert also has to be sent. Normally, the SMS alert has to be sent in a form of audio, because sometimes maybe the farmer may not be know how to read and write, so they should send the audio SMS alert regarding when to buy, when to come, when to take the purchase from the fair price shop. Okay, then sample food grain. Normally what happens is that the fair price shop do not keep some sample like what exactly they are going to sell from there. So because of that, nobody knows what type of product they are coming with and what they are going to sell and how much they are going to sell. So there is a need to keep certain sample in the fair price shop also. Okay, so what are the suggested measure in order to improve the whole process? First of all, unbiased inspection should happen. Unbiased inspection, anywhere you can go and just inspect the places, and then if there is any issues and discrepancies are there, you can severely punish them and penalize them. Okay, corruption free monitoring though. Okay, if there is any officer that is going on, they should not be get corrupted. So that is why we have to have a use of high end technologies has to be there. Then awareness among the gram panchayat. So gram panchayat is the lower level. Gram panchayat is the lower level that has to be taken care of. So at gram panchayat has to find out like who are eligible for the PDS system, who should get the PDS, because gram panchayat knows who are poor and who are below poor, like that. Okay, so this is the role that has been to be given to the gram panchayat. And the next will be facilitation of direct interaction between the state food department and the representative and beneficiaries in the village. So you are directly linking the people who are going to supply the food and those who are going to get the food. So if we are working at a last mile connectivity, now the people who are very known to the people who are poorer, they can be easily able to identify who are the poor, right? So they will be able to do the better targeting. Better targeting. So what will happen if we have a gram panchayat? Gram panchayat is there. So gram panchayat know who people are there in their village area who are at a below poverty line. So exactly we should target those people. Instead of targeting based on some census data or some other rural census data or something like that, it is better to look for the root people who are exactly dealing with those people. Okay, then grievance redressal mechanism has to be again has to be put on the upfront, and there should be a dedicated cell for grievance redressal mechanism should be there. Then vigilance committee has to be there, which has to work seamlessly, so that if there is any kind of diversion, if there is any kind of issue related to the beneficiary or anything, so these vigilance committee are very active in their work. They have to be very active in their work. If there is any kind of deviation that is happening during transportation, if there is any issue that is happening in the fair price shop level, so vigilance committee has to be very strong, and they should have a powers to deal with that. Okay, then allocate appropriate budget to sustain and monitoring system. That means for all these monitoring mechanism of the PDS system, for all the monitoring of this PDS system, you need to allocate certain amount of budget, so this whole mechanism, monitoring mechanism, should work properly. Now, what are the measures to identify the household? What you can do to identify the household? Okay, so you have to follow a certain criteria. That is, identifying the target household based on state or region specific priorities. Region specific priority means, like, if you have a certain region which have certain priority, you will be able to properly attend that this region has this type of priority and this type of people we have to select here. Okay, so criteria should be developed in such a way that you can easily identify the target group. Various states should have a various type of identification groups, various type of identification tools. Okay, so how this identification should be done? So there will be people who will be going to the families and everywhere. So you need to train those people who are going and take the census, who are going to take the survey, all these things. Okay, so rigorous training for interviewer should happen. Those who are going to take the data and going to the homes of the people and finding out like what is the problem, what whether they are getting proper food supplies or not. So the basic training of these interviewers should happen in such a way that they will be able to identify, yes, this person or this household needs help in the form of PDS system. Proper conduct survey, and survey has to be done by the person or an organization which have a local presence. Like if there is an NGO who has the local present at that place, they will be knowing the local problem much more than the person who is sitting in Delhi or any other places, right? So we have to utilize the data, we have to utilize those organizations which are aware of the local context. If I'm going to Karnataka, I wanted like Karnataka, if we go for Raichur, okay, or Guntur. Okay, so if I wanted to work over here, I will select certain NGO from this place or any civil society from this place, and I will be taking the help in ensuring, because these people will be much more aware about the local context, local languages, and everything. And in this whole process, we have to make the things free from any political affiliation. It should be clear cut work that has to be done, and there will be no political deviation that should happen. There should be no political interference should happen in order to get proper result, if we are really wanted to identify the target households. Now coming the next topic, that is on Aadhaar use in PDS. What is the role? What is the role of Aadhaar in PDS? So Aadhaar is a very important revolutionary tool. Aadhaar we use as an identifier tool, because Aadhaar is now being treated as an identity. If you really wanted to get any government service, you have to seed your data with Aadhaar card. Okay, so Aadhaar help in addressing the issue of marginalized individual who are not having proper valid proof. Okay, so this Aadhaar will provide their valid proof of identity. Aadhaar is providing you with a number which will remain for your lifetime, and this number will be utilized for getting access to social benefit and services wherever you go, and your data will be seeded in your Aadhaar number, and every data should be collected, and your whole data will be available once your Aadhaar number is there. So if you really wanted to provide the proper targeted supply of the PDS or food grain supply to these marginalized section of the society, so beneficiary data, you should focus on the some tool which is identifier. That means to whom I wanted to give. So Aadhaar is a very important identifier tool. Then social benefit delivery service. So this Aadhaar enabled direct benefit transfer. I hope you might be knowing DBT model, direct beneficiary transfer model under JAM Trinity, Janadhan account, Aadhaar, and mobile. So these three things are linked together, and you will be getting. Right now, government is providing most of the subsidy using the direct benefit transfer model. Various subsidies are being transferred because right now the Aadhaar data is seeded everywhere. They have been linked with your Aadhaar, Jandhan account, and mobile phone. Okay, so this helpful in cleaning of the database so that there should be no duplication that should happen. Okay, if there is any duplication, the duplicate data will be removed from there. So that is why there should be no double identity that should work over there. So Aadhaar is very, very important. Then demographic and development planning. So if you have a Aadhaar data, you can understand what type of people from which social strata, okay, what type of social strata, what type of jobs these people were working, okay, and since how many long they are doing the job. So for we can make an effective development planning for various government level. Aadhaar also prevent the leakages, because before giving anything to the beneficiary, their Aadhaar data is verified. whether they are the real person, where their fingerprint is being verified, their face scan is being verified. So slowly we will be making more and more sophisticated tool of the Aadhaar. So it helps in reducing the risk of frauds and leakages and pilferages. Okay, like if we are sending food grains, if we are sending kerosene from PDS shop, so beneficiaries are being first checked based on their Aadhaar card. Their data will be seeded, and then only the various type of support is given to them. But what are the challenges that are there related to Aadhaar based biometric authentication? So there are certain challenges are also there when we utilizes this. Okay, it requires successful fingerprinting authentication monthly. Every monthly you have to go and do successful authentication. Sometimes this fingerprint concept fails because maybe because these are people who are of labor class, and they have a lot of manual labor they have to do, and because of that their fingerprint got damaged sometime. So there is still a issue of fingerprint authentication every month. Okay, so there is a evidence that from Jharkhand that Aadhaar based biometric authentication does not reduce PDS corruption. So they become more and more sophisticated. Okay, earlier they were doing in a simpler way. Now because of this Aadhaar base, they are taking the fake data, they are taking fake Aadhaar cards, they are fooling the beneficiaries in order to utilize their Aadhaar card for their own personal benefits. Okay, so that is again one more example. ABBA, that is Aadhaar based biometric authentication, doesn't prevent quantity fraud. Quantity frauds keeps on happening. We have already discussed that. It doesn't help if PDS dealer give less than due. Okay, you have Aadhaar card, you have done all authentication, you are entitled 10 kg of food grain, but the person is giving you only 7 kg. What you will do with that Aadhaar card? Will you feed that data in the Aadhaar card? There is no concept of feeding that data, that you are getting less than what is entitled. So they, like, if the PDS dealer is giving you less food grain, then there is nothing to complain, and you cannot do anything with your Aadhaar card, right? Then death due to hunger occur from biometric mismatch at PDS shop. If PDS shop do biometric authentication, and if there is no match that happens, and because of that the person is not able to get the food grain every month, so because of hunger death may also occur. So this is a very extreme scenario, but it happens. Okay, then Aadhaar based biometric authentication also create problem for the elderly and disabled people, because they have to keep on giving every time their personal visit for authentication. Okay, so that is also another challenge that is there. Then seeding issue, data seeding issue is there. So whenever we try to seed the data, put the Aadhaar data, it is a very tedious operation. Okay, every time you have to seed Aadhaar number for each new scheme whenever it is coming. So there is a lot of inconsistencies that are there between the ration card holder and Aadhaar. So there is a huge mismatches there between ration card data and Aadhaar database. Okay, so after that, many people are unaware about these Aadhaar seeding rule. Now we have inclusion error. Whenever we try to put anything new in any perspective, the state financial burden increases. Okay, so there is an increase in the state financial burden. Obviously state has to do a lot of work. Normally the state used to give a cry that the central government has to do something, which they have to do these Aadhaar seeding database, but actually both the state government and the central government has to work together in order to properly include the people. If there is any exclusion happens, which always happens, it leaves poor family with vulnerable to hunger. Okay, and because of this hunger they may lead to undernourishment, and because of undernourishment, and even they have a lot of they don't have proper calories intake, and because of that they starve to death. Okay, so inclusion error has to first of all need to be tackled with the help of the local community, like in the form of a panchayati raj of a panchayat, gram panchayat. So gram panchayat will help in exactly finding out who are the poor families, and first of all the targeting has to be done over there. Then deprivation of the poor. There is a very tedious task of linking this pension, ration card, bank account with the Aadhaar. Demographic mismatch happens, Aadhaar linking failure happens between the job card and ration card. So these are all tedious jobs. The data at some record, like if you have a data at some one record, this is not matching with the other record, so there is a lot of mismatch happen, and because of the mismatch happens, the people do not get proper supply from the ration shop or a fair price shop. So there is a need to create a certain type of ID which only single ID is required for any other purposes. There should be no match has to be required. If you are doing the match, then you should match it with the Aadhaar card. Okay, so Aadhaar card, these are the challenges which are there, which deprivates the poor because of the inclusion error, because of the seeding error, because this is not a problem of a poor person. This is a problem of the technology. This is a problem of the government to make sure that this technology get embedded in them in a proper way. Okay, and they should not suffer, the people should not suffer just because government wanted to adopt something. So government has to do certain extra rigorous work in order to adopt this whole challenge. And what is the way that we should go? So first of all, we have to resolve Aadhaar card inconsistencies. Okay, then duplication error has to be removed, so that because of the duplication the data gets cancelled. So that is why you can provide them with food coupons, you can provide them with smart cards. Okay, like that you can provide them. Use different technologies, computerization, SMS alert, online records, everything you can provide in order to reach to the last mile connectivity, last mile customer. Privacy is the major cause, because Aadhaar card is having lot of data, personal biometric data they are having, and that has to be protected at any cost. So it has to be given a constitutional backing of privacy. Then prioritize privacy risk. Proper protective measures has to be included over there in order to enhance the whole system. Okay, then there should be a national cyber cell which should respond to the cyber attack. Just because we are talking about the Aadhaar card seeding in the PDS, that is why we have to talk about all these points, like how we can improve, how can we improve the Aadhaar card seeding in our PDS system, so that if Aadhaar card is improved properly, obviously our PDS function will start working properly. Now we are moving towards the next topic, that is one nation, one ration card. That is also very, very important topic. Now, one nation, one ration card, the major focus area of is to enable portability. That means you can utilize your ration card anywhere in India. It is not like that you have to utilize that ration card only at your state, only at your district, and only at your town. No, it wanted to increase the portability of your card, so that you should get proper food security benefit throughout the country. Okay, a special focus has been given to the poor migrant who were traveling throughout the country for their jobs. Okay, so they have to travel throughout their country, and because of that they cannot return back to their own state. So that is why this concept of one nation, one ration card, so that wherever they go they can take the ration at that place. Even the Supreme Court has asked that what is the feasibility of ONORC, one nation, one ration card. And finance minister said that we will do a national rollout of the one nation, one ration card by March 2021. Okay, but slowly the project is being on the proper place, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of things has been sidelined, but still this focus area is still there in the one nation, one ration card, and in the near future it is going to be rolled out throughout the country, and the process is still going on. And 20 states have already agreed to implement this whole process of one nation, one ration card, because these are the states which are highly, they have a huge lot of migrant worker are there who are coming from various parts of the country, and that is why this one nation, one ration card is very, very important for them. So this is what this public distribution system of digitalization, we should have an integrated management of the PDS. So this is the electronization or computerization of the end-to-end targeted public distribution system. We will be coming, so this is what exactly the National Food Security Security Act government is trying to achieve under their ration card digitalization, Aadhaar seeding, online allocation of supply chain, then fair price shop automation, cashless transaction, grievance redressal, and transparency portal. So you can see here all these things are being the major source of computerization, and end-to-end connectivity will be provided, the fair price shop along with the Aadhaar seeding and everything. Since if this has been done in a proper way, so there will be total control over the PDS system, and there will be very minimal leakage, and there will be very efficient distribution of the food grain that will happen. Okay, so then after that, with all this data, we will be creating a central repository. We will be able to remove the duplicate data analytics will be providing like what is the trend in the supply of the food grain, and then proper dashboard will be created. So this is going to be totally digitalize our PDS system. Now moving to the our one nation one ration card. Okay, so this is about the poor migrant worker. Okay, and first of all, we have to provide them with proper ration card which can be digitalized, and that had to be linked with the Aadhaar card, so that it should be Aadhaar seeded ration card. Okay, so migrants are eligible for central support subsidies. Migrants are eligible for the central support subsidy because migrant worker keep on traveling, so state don't have to give from their own stake. It is a central supported subsidy that they are going to get. Okay, so the main purpose is no poor person misses out the subsidy, and we all know that we in all the ration card shop and all the fair price shop, we have a point of sale machinery is there, point of sale machinery where the data is feeded and Aadhaar link cards are being utilized over there. All right, so biometric authentication will be very helpful for these migrant, and this biometric authentication will help the migrant to go anywhere in the country, you know, and they should not be worried about their PDS. They will be able to get from the central pool wherever they are. It is just they have to get connected with the central pool with one nation one ration card. Okay, so what is the significance of the scheme, especially focusing on the migrant worker? So this is around 36 crore people, or 37% of the population of our country is migrant worker, and because of this issue they do not get proper ration card at proper time. So that is why this is very important, that is needed with Aadhaar card authentication in a proper way. And for the women's, special focus has been given to women, special aid or disadvantages group, because they were facing certain kind of social and contextual factors are there. So more women also are in move, and women also don't have a proper data on record. So this one nation one ration card will provide women freely access to various places. They can move to the various places for various type of jobs and various type of work, and they can get their ration card at anywhere in the country. Okay, so it also provide choices. Okay, beneficiary, those who are having one nation one ration card, they can choose their dealer, they can switch their fair price shop. Like if I don't want this fair price shop 1, I can go to fair price shop 2. Okay, just because I have a one nation one ration card, I can switch on our dealer and switch on the fair price shop, because my data will be seeded anywhere. So it will be properly in record that I have already taken my PDS. Okay, so there is a flexibility in working over there. It will also help in curbing corruption. Deduplication prevents the person from being listed as a beneficiary in multiple locations. So if you are having a Aadhaar seeded data, so you cannot list yourself as beneficiary at multiple location, because if you have a one nation one ration card which is Aadhaar seeded, whenever you are going to take the ration at any places, and if you go after that to other places, automatically the system will tell you that you have already taken the PDS of this month. Okay, so if you are targeting using the Aadhaar seeded data, it reduces corruption, and you will have all the data at the central data repository in order to properly analyze, cross-check every card detail, so that there is no duplication and corruption that is happening. And yes, because of this whole process, the government will be having a very important technological in hand, and this scheme will have a very good integrity of working. Now, what are the challenges? Now, what are the challenges that we face while all this process that is going on? Okay, so government may face technical challenges due to technology based scheme implementation, like integration of the database, software glitches, or connectivity issues are there. because obviously we have, if we are going for one nation, one ration card, then there is an issue of proper integration of data at a Indian level, okay, at a total national level. So there is a lot of issues related to database, software glitches, and connectivity issue. We still find like a lot of glitches are there. So again, if we are connecting through India and everything, so I just give you an example. Like when the GST came, there was a lot of glitches that were there. When the FASTag came, there was a lot of glitches were there. Similarly, if we are going to implement this one nation, one ration card, again we will be having a lot of glitches that will be there. Okay, then this scheme could again increase the plight of a common people, and this again will be exploited by the middlemen say that middlemen just try to make sure that whatever the plight of a common people, whether it is related to technology or anything, it will again lead to corruption in the PDS shop. Okay, higher prices or lower quality goods, and again this will be again an exploitation that will be done, because since the technology is at the starting phase, one nation, one ration card, so there will be a lot of confusion that will be there with that. Okay, so this confusion will be exploited by the middleman and corrupt PDS shop owners. So Tamil Nadu opposes the scheme, citing undesirable consequences as federalism violation. Tamil Nadu say that since again this is going to be a central technology, one nation, one ration card. So central, then Tamil Nadu say that it is against the federalism contest. That means the central government will be interfering with the state government operations. That is obviously that is again one more concept that we wanted to put. So it will again disrupt the state autonomy in that case. Okay, then interstate portability issue with some states are there, because there is a lot of data transferring benefits. Some states are giving different type of benefits, other states are giving different type of benefits. Maybe at some state you are getting more rice, in some state you are getting more wheat. Okay, so based on that, there is a lot of transferring benefits that will be there. Issues with the transferring benefits that will be there. Then different states rate poses challenge due to mismatch, confusion, pricing confusion, commodity confusion, that will again lead to inequality among the beneficiary that you are going to provide. Now again, regional parties express concern about bearing additional ration card costs. Again, they have to create one nation, one ration card, and again they have to do a whole lot of exercise, and again building new ration cards and everything. So there is a disagreement between them. Okay, then state apprehensive about extra cost of supplying food grain to migrant worker. That means state will say that why we should provide extra food to the migrant worker, and I have to state have to pay extra cost for the migrant worker. So here again the central government and the state government has to come in close proximity in order to solve this issue, right? Then system based on National Food Security Act entitlement prevent additional charges for beneficiary. That means if you are ensuring subsidized rate for essential goods, it has to remain consistent. It has to be remain consistent. If it has to remain consistent, then we have to make sure that the system remains very, very uniform. Okay, so National Food Security Act entitlement has to make sure that throughout the states everything remains similar, then only this whole concept will be working. These are the challenges. Then quality of service is inferior for sub-term groups facing discrimination. So we don't know what type of quality may provide. Maybe Uttar Pradesh might be providing different kind of services. Karnataka may provide different kind of services in their fair price shop. So there is a issue of quality of service. Maybe you may get good service, maybe you do not get proper service. There might be lack of information. You might be getting good product or not good product. You might have a longer wait period. Like if migrant worker are there, okay, if migrant workers are there, they have to wait longer than the local workers. Okay, and at the same time they even get verbally abused by the local fair price shop owner. So these are all the challenges which are there for running the scheme. So what is a way forward in order to achieve this whole concept? So what the government can do is that government can come up with a national migration policy, that they can create a total comprehensive policy of what the migrant worker is, how they are going to travel, what type of services they will be getting. Everything has to be written on that national migration policy, which should be adopted by everybody. Then fast tracking one nation, one ration card scheme, because this is again creating problem for the migrant worker because they are not getting proper entitlement of the PDS system. So that is why we need to fast track the one nation, one ration card scheme. So there is a priority. We have to prioritize that. Then cost of food security scheme. So we know that it incurs a huge lot of cost of around 1 lakh crore rupees annually. 1 lakh crore rupees annually, and if there is another certain entitlement, then again it adds on to that. Okay, so this scheme is highly costly for the government, but yeah, there is a very important thing that we are getting is it in ensuring the food security for the vulnerable population. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we should prevent the leakages, we have to prevent the pilferages, and we have to make sure that all the beneficiaries should get proper supply of the food grain proper efficiently and maximizing their input. Then inclusion of health access. ONORC scheme should not only focus on food but also include on healthcare. Healthcare means if they have any one nation one ration card, they can also utilize essential services wherever they are going. So this card should be based on the multifaceted need of the migrant workers. That if they are going anywhere, within a single card they can get all the services like education, ration, healthcare, whatever the basic needs are there. Okay, so then unified service delivery system should be there. So the consensus within the government need to be unified. Everybody, that state government, central government, departments, everybody should be in a uniform way, has to streamline the whole process. Okay, so it should be focusing on the citizen centric services. Proper rating of the PDS dealer, that means you should start rating the PDS dealer. That means if PDS dealer 1 is there and 2 is there, 1 is providing all good services, he is providing water to everybody, then a proper behavior of that is there, so PDS shop owner 1 will get good rating. Okay, based on the rating system, we have Uber, Ola, the way rating system work, we can also do the rating system for the PDS dealer or fair price shop owner. Okay, based on that, they may be rewarded, they may be penalized for the same work. Then proper infrastructure and monitoring has to happen if one nation one ration card is there, if you really wanted to get the potential benefit out of it. Proper infrastructure, like proper technological infrastructure with related to point of sale machine, with weighing machine, with proper internet facility, and everything should be there. Then long-term relevance post-pandemic. Obviously, COVID-19 pandemic has made sure that India should get integrated as soon as possible, because people are going to various parts of the country for their jobs, and that is why there is a economic migration, social migration are happening. So in order to make our country as a unified country, there is a need to have common things for everybody, which is the basic need of everybody. This one nation one ration card is one of them, like the way Ayushman Bharat card is there. Similarly, one nation one ration card is also going to be having same policy objectives. Now, as you all know that now we will be moving towards the new topic that is called food subsidy system that is there in our country. What is the meaning of food subsidy system? Now again, if we are dealing with the PDS system, so food subsidy system is very important. Till now we are talking about in the context of the consumers. Now we will be talking about the food subsidy system. What is the subsidy system and what the government wanted to intend with that? We know that the food subsidy bill of our country is unimaginably very high, very high, and always there is a growth trajectory like this, so that every year the food subsidy bill is increasing. Okay, so FCI is taking a lot of loan in order to store these places, and so subsidy amount along with FCI loan under National Savings Certificate is around 1.65 to 2.2 lakh crore, and the further annual subsidy bill is around 2.5 lakh crore as per the economic survey of 2020 and 2021. We all know that food security of our country is managed by the targeted public distribution system that we have already discussed in proper detail. Okay, but still there is an increase in the food subsidy bill, because the ratio of the people below poverty line, below the poverty line has decreased. Despite increase in spending on the food subsidy bill, the people below poverty line is decreasing over the year, and the hunger problem is also getting sorted out slowly. and right now it is said that no people are dying because of the hunger because of the government food subsidy program under National Food Security Act. Okay, so 98% of the ministry budget is allocated to the Department of Food and Public Distribution system of Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. So what are the challenges that we face in food security of India? Okay, beneficiary complain about the poor quality food grain. Obviously this is a one challenge, that beneficiary do not get good quality of the food grain. Then minimum support price is only for certain crops, and that is why there is a biasing towards certain type of crop, that the people are producing more and more wheat, rice and various other things just because they are getting proper MSP over that. Okay, so MSP is like higher than the market price to minimal procurement of the other costs. So MSP try to make a problem. So MSP try to bring the thing in such a way that it is favoring certain crop and it is discouraging certain kind of crop. So that should not happen. Because of that, the whole diversification is getting deteriorated. Okay, so lack of incentive for farmer to produce crop like pulses, because there is a huge lot of issues of pulses is there, oil seeds are there, so government is not providing due support to the pulses and oilseeds. So that is why farmers are producing much of the rice, wheat and other type of crop where they are getting proper good amount of MSP prices. But then because of that, there are other crops which get ignored, like pulses and MSPs are there. So government should expand the subsidies, but they have to also check nutritional imbalance. Okay, government provides subsidy in such a way that the nutritional balance should be get maintained. It should not be like that government should provide subsidy to certain sector in a heavier way and other sector they are not getting proper way. Okay, so it is a duty of the state government to identify the proper beneficiaries. Okay, and proper audit has to be done in order to make sure that whether the proper intended subsidy that has been given and the money that has been spent under the food subsidy system is being utilized properly or not. It is said that 49% of the beneficiaries are yet to be identified by the state government. That means there is 50% identification issue that is there, but it has to be slowly jot down, just because we have to make sure that Aadhaar based seeding and then various type of one nation one ration card has to be put on the place. Only then only we will be able to properly identify the beneficiary. Then storage capacity has to be also taken care of because of inadequate storage facility. 30 to 35% of the food grain get lost in the yearly context. So quantity of food grain, high drawal rate by the state. So states are drawing around 60 to 66 million tons of food grain annually over 3 years. So this is 91 to 95% withdrawal rate is there. And since National Food Security Act came into being in 2013, around 2/3 of the population is getting the subsidized food grain, and in 2020 government have even started to providing double the amount of food grain because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the budgetary resources earlier revised estimate is that due to COVID-19 pandemic it is 4.23, which is excluding 84,000 in the extra budgetary resources that government has to provide in order to provide extra food grain to the people. Okay, so these are some data, like 94.35 million tons is allocated to the state by December 2020. Okay, so government said that we will be abandoning the policy of extra budgetary resources. That means if there is extra resources that is required, you should not go and buy the extra resources by providing extra resources, but we have to incorporate the arrears. We should utilize the arrears in FCI loans into food subsidy amount. We also have to make sure that government wanted to abandon the extra budgetary resources. Government wanted to manage the resources from whatever the available resources are there in order to reduce the amount of loan that has been taken by the FCI. Now, what is the problem of allocating fund? Okay, so food subsidy increased from 1.2 lakh crore to 3.8 lakh crore. Because of that, government has to borrow money from the National Small Saving Fund, NSSF. Government releases special government securities to pay for food subsidy bill, because it is not like that government is full of money. Government also has to borrow the money. and on that borrowing money, government has to pay the interest amount also. Okay, but this borrowing has been discontinued in 21 as per union budget announcement. So what is the exactly food subsidy include? Rice procurement, wood procurement, and other scheme for strategic grain reserve. So we are strategically reserving the grain, especially focusing on wheat and rice. Then we are providing subsidy to the state for decentralized procurement. So this is food subsidy. We are providing subsidy to FCI to buy the wheat and rice. Then we are subsidizing the state for decentralized procurement. So all these money has to be beared by the central government. Okay, so how we find out the what is the food subsidy bill, how much subsidy we are giving? So first of all, we have to find out the economic cost of that production, and then central issue price. If the economic cost is 2000 and central issue price is 500, so 1500 is the subsidy bill that central government has to bear on that. Okay, because central government has to provide resources at less rates to the state so that they can give it to the fair price shops. Okay, so this is how you calculate the food subsidy bill. Now what we can do, what is a way forward in order to enhance the situation? So as per Shanta Kumar committee, again since we are talking about the food subsidy bill, we have to again talk about the Shanta Kumar committee. So they said that right now we are providing 67% people with subsidized food grain. So it has to come to the lower 40% people has to provide. Then we have to provide give up option, like those people who are well toned, they can give up their ration card. Okay, similarly the cooking gas cylinder that we all have given up, right? Now we have to encourage the state to put the proper criteria about the PHS card holder to reduce their numbers. Exact criteria has to be in place in order to find out who are going to be the card holder and who are not going to be. Okay, and food rate and food price rate should be based on slab. That means this income slab people will get at this rate, this income slab people will get at this rate, like that. Okay, so consider charging higher rates for larger quantity of food grain for non-needy beneficiary. If there is a non-needy beneficiary is there, but he or she is asking for higher quantity of food grain, then you should charge higher from those people. This is what exactly how you can recast your food subsidy bill. Then determine the rates for beneficiary through consultation. Okay, like which beneficiary should get what rate. Okay, lower strata will get at this rate, upper lower strata will get at this rate, Antyodaya Anna Yojana will get at this rate. Okay, so this every slab has to be there. Okay, so implement measure retail prices. Okay, implement measure to positively impact the retail prices so that it should not go well below down or it should not go very higher. Okay, PDS reform, computerization, Aadhaar seeding, fair price shop, automation, all these are very, very important if we really wanted to work on recasting our food subsidy. Okay, revamped food subsidy and revamped PDS system has to work, and this can be only done when we have a political will at our place. If political will is there, we can totally transform the system and reform the system and make it more and more efficient. Right? Now we are moving towards the last scheme which government is running, especially during the COVID-19 time. It is related to Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Okay, under this, the government during the COVID-19 pandemic came with a new scheme, which is the world largest food security program during the COVID-19 pandemic, because during that time people were not having resources to buy the food. So government said that you will be getting the food at free of cost in order to alleviate the food insecurity and hunger. Okay, so provision for extended to all beneficiaries under the targeted public distribution system Antyodaya Anna Yojana and priority household ration card. Okay, priority, last time we heard no PHH, it is PHS card holder are priority household cards are there, so they will be getting receive 5 kg of food grain, 1 kilogram of gram per month as per the latest update. Okay, free of cost under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Okay, so later updates will be available. So once and then we will be continuing with our when we are continuing with our current affair classes, we will be providing you in that way. Okay, now we are moving to the last topic of this whole. So now the next topic is regarding the buffer stock and food security. Buffer stock means when you are keeping certain thing at a buffer in order to meet at an emergency situation, right? Till now we were talking only about the PDS system. Okay, we have discussed all about the PDS system. What are the Aadhaar seeding, then one nation, one ration card scheme, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, everything we have discussed, right? Now buffer stocking. What is the meaning of buffer stocking? That is a reserve of commodity, that you are keeping in order to counter any kind of price fluctuation that are happening, or for your emergency use. Okay, emergency use like COVID-19 pandemic, when we have utilized this whole buffer stock during that time, and we are providing free fruit grain to the people from this buffer stock. Okay, buffer stock can be of anything. It can be food grain, pulses, oil, or anything. The concept of this buffer stock was came in fourth 5-year plan in 1969 and 74. Right? So it is the main task is that it is the food grain stocking norm, like how much food grain you can stock regarding in the central pool, like whenever you need any kind of emergency need or something like that. Earlier it was known as food grain stocking norm, but later it has been renamed as buffer norms and strategic reserve. What is buffer norms and strategic reserve? That the name has been converted into this. So how I hope I have already told you like what is the process of grain movement. The process of grain movement is like procured of the food grain at the FCI warehouse, state and union territory warehouse, fair price shop. Okay, so the main stocking happens at this place. Okay, this is called, here we keep the buffer stock. Here we keep the buffer stock for the future emergencies if there is anything that arises. Now, what is the objective of buffer stock? The main objective is monthly release under the PDS system. You know, every month the ration shop, fair price shop used to get the monthly stock of the food grain from the buffer stock itself. Okay, and if there is any other kind of welfare scheme, that is also get from the buffer stock. If there is any emergency situation arise, like crop failure happen, natural disaster happen, or any pandemic happens, so again this buffer stock is released in order to ease down the prices. Price stabilization. All of a sudden, if we see that the prices of wheat are rising, if the prices of sugar is rising, then government will release this grain or sugar from the buffer stock to ease down the prices. So last year government has done for wheat, rice, sugar, and everything. Okay, so it also buffer stock protect the farmer from the negative impact of the crop at MSP. Okay, this also protect the farmer from negative impact when they are buying and procuring for the MSP crops. And phase release during the deficit, if there is any deficit that is there, like if this year we have 200 million ton of production, but last year we have only 180 million tons, so this buffer stock will be able to bridge the gap between them, so that there should be no issue with the nutrition requirement, there should be no issue with the National Food Security Act. So we have to always maintain the buffer stock to the certain limit is there. Okay, so we have already discussed, this came in 1969 and 74, right? So and Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs set minimum buffer norm quarterly, 1st April, 1st July, 1st October, and 1st January. Every quarterly they said that what type of buffer stock, how much buffer stock you have to maintain. Okay, so during the current stocking you have certain criteria like operational stock and food security stock. Operational stock means which is needed for monthly dispersal at fair price shop, and then food security stock for addressing procurement shortfall. That means if there is any procurement shortfall is there, then you should utilize this stocking concept. Okay, food security, if there is any kind of shortfall that is happening in their buffer, they start buying and keep it in the buffer zone. So what is the meaning of formula of operational stock? Here you just remember that operational stock means stock for your targeted public distribution system, ration card shops, or plus other welfare scheme, and food security stock, that is all called as operational stock, which is having with you. Right now, food grain stock management in India. What is that? What is the whole process in that? Now we will be discussing like how this stocking will be done. Before that, we should know what is the meaning of operational and buffer stock. 4-month requirement of food grain of targeted public distribution system are operational stock. That means you have to at least keep up to 4 months of requirement with yourself. Okay, that is your operational stock, and if there is any surplus that is there, that will be treated as buffer stock. That means if you have the requirement of 10 million ton for 4 months, but actually you are having 12 million ton with you, so that extra 2 million ton will be treated as a buffer stock. Okay, now what you will do with the excess stock? Government of India consider food stock exceeding minimum norms have excess stock. So what is the meaning of excess stock? That is the extra which is above your minimum norms are there. So when you have an excess stock, what government do is that government try to offload that in the domestic market, or they do open sale, or they do export, or they additionally allocate to the states. This is called offloading of the excess stock. Right, because it is very difficult to keep extra stock over there because of the storage issues and everything. Then government also create strategic reserve for special occasions. Okay, buffer of 30 lakh tons of wheat and 20 lakh tons of rice of strategic reserve. Pulses since 2015, 1.5 lakh ton of pulses is also maintained by NFID, SFAC and FCI. So this is the additional that has been maintained as a strategic reserve for certain emergency situation, if there is any certain price fluctuation is there, or any pandemic or anything that is coming over there. Okay, so this is how we have already discussed this, because I am keeping this photo again and again so that you remember the flow in a different way. Okay, from farm to procurement center, from procurement center to central warehouse to state warehouse to district warehouse, all these places, here this storage will happen. Here the buffer will be created. Buffer will be created at all these 3 places. Okay, now this is what the stock limit of there in 2015 and in 2022. Source are from the is from the FCI. So if we see the stock of the central pool, wheat is around 28.51 million ton, rice is 31.7, and unmilled paddy is 23.15 million ton. That has been kept at a central pool. That is the stocking limit of this. So if you see, there is an increase in the buffering stock in the central pool. We cannot call this as only buffer stock, because this buffer stock contains your strategic reserve, also your monthly targeted public distribution system, then excess stock is also there. So this is what is maintained with the FCI at their warehouses and various other places in order to meet the demand of Food Security Act, National Food Security Act, with the help of targeted public distribution system, and at the same time in order to manage any kind of calamities that is happening. Okay, so now let's see what is let's critically analyze the buffer stock situation. First of all, we have inefficient inventory management that is there. So government produce lot of food grain, procure lot of food grain surplus. Okay, like government is having surplus food grain at their warehouses, but during the scarcity time they are failed to release that. Because of that, there is sudden upheaval, that sudden rise of prices happens in the market. So that means the government is not proactive enough in dealing with this inventory. Government takes time in dealing with that inventory, and during that time only all the damages is being done. Okay, So that is why we need a proper policy in dealing with the proper inventory of that. Then rising cost of operation, MSPs are there, bonuses are there, mandi charges are there, milling charges are there, administrative charges are there. So a lot of charges are there in keeping all these buffer stocks. The economic cost of keeping this extra grain is very, very high, and it is about 40% more than procurement prices. Economic cost for acquiring, storing, and distributing is more than 40% of procurement cost. Okay. In FCI, there are a lot of transit loss that is happening when we are sending from one place to other, from one warehouse to the other. Okay, increase. So there is a transit loss of close to 147% between 2006 and 7 because of inadequate capacity. Then de facto nationalization of grain market. We know that 75% of the marketable surplus is procured by the government. So because of that, there is less grain that is available in the market because most of them is with the government. So all of a sudden, there is a sudden increase in the prices. Market supply, reduced market supply lead to upward price pressure. Inflation will happen. Okay. So it neutralizes the customer benefit of subsidy. Even if the customer is getting subsidy, the whole money is going and buying that product at inflated rate. Okay, so because of that, it affects the price competitiveness in the international market. That is why proactive measures has to be taken in that. Then increasing gap in per capita income grain availability. So rice procurement, where rice and wheat production was up by 29%. So the data was a little bit older. We will be coming up with a newer data. Okay. But per capita net grain availability is down by 1%. Stock limited are going up, but it is for consumer availability, it is going down. Your stock limit is going high, but consumer availability is going down. So this shows that there is an issue with buffer stocking. What is the concept of buffer stocking? If even after having bumper supply and everything, you are not able to supply the proper food grain to the consumers. Then high level committee, again Shanta Kumar committee has recommended procurement operation. He said that delegate all wheat, paddy and rice procurement to the state. Central should not buy wheat, paddy and rice. The state only should procure these things and utilize their infrastructure to provide it to their population. Then assistance to the distressed state. FCI advises to 8 states like Eastern UP, Bihar, West Bengal who suffer from below MSP sales and small holding. So distressed state has to be provided lot of support with this buffer stocking. Government should take control of the buffer stocking from the distressed states. Then PDS and national food security issue, leakage concern is there. 40 to 70% leakages are happening from PDS shops, fair price shops, and they are getting diverted to the market, leading to the person who is really in need is not getting the proper food. They are saying that the food is over, the grain is over, now come the next week or next month. Actually, the allocation is being done properly. But because of this leakages and pilferages, in the fair price shop, the quantity is not being maintained. So there is a need to end-to-end computerization. Online beneficiary list data has to be put and vigilant committee has to put in order to check these practices. Then buffer stocking operation and liquidation policy. That means if you have a huge buffer stock that is exceeding the norms, you should not keep exceeding the norms type of buffer with you, because unnecessarily it creates heavy losses to you. So this liquidation policy has to come, like if there is any buffer stock that comes or if there is any excess stock comes, then this policy should automatically come into place. What we have to do with that? When surplus stock comes, what exactly we have to do with that? It is not always the government to decide. Automatically that policy should come into place. What we have to do with the buffer stock if it comes. Then direct subsidies of farmer. As per the report, it said that you should provide direct incentives to the farmer instead of providing them with subsidies. Direct incentive in the form of cash incentives. Direct support to their farmers. That is yet another way we can solve this issue of proper buffer stocking. Then direct cash transfer, as per the high level committee of Shanta Kumar, they said that provide direct cash subsidy of rupees 7,000 per hectare to the farmer. So it will prevent the diversion of urea, because then farmer will be more and more cautious in utilizing this money. Then farmer will decide how much money we need for urea. If you are providing only fertilizer subsidy, they keep on buying the fertilizer only at subsidized rate. But if you are providing them cash, so they will be optimally utilizing it properly. So it will elevate the financial burden. So in that, farmer will be able to decide what they wanted exactly: fertilizer, seed, how much fertilizer, how much seed. Like that, the government, that like farmer can take the decision. Then end-to-end computerization. High level committee said that we have to put end-to-end computerization of everything. Okay, from procurement to storage to movement to stocking to distribution, everything should be end to end, so that we should prevent the leakages at every step. And then we have come up with a new phase of FCI. FCI should be working on the new age 21st century model. Okay, we have to convert FCI into innovative agencies. Okay, because FCI is the place where all the grains are being stored. It has to be competition. It has to be competitive enough and has to help in proper supply chain management, whether it is related to state or central or wherever it is. Okay, so the FCI role in the coming future has to do with overall system cost reduction, properly eliminate the leakages with the help of computerization, and so that once you are able to properly manage the situation, you will be able to serve large number of farmers and consumer all together. So guys, this is all for today. I hope you have all enjoyed the session. Thank you so much. I will be coming with the next topic. Till then, bye bye, take care.